Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Chrissy Small, and some of the stories coming up in our Nelson Tasman Regional News Roundup. Dragons, castles and more at Steiner Fair. Fluoride in water issue soon off Council's menu. Absences noted and more. The fluoridating water decision-making powers is now likely to transfer to district health boards after an announcement this week by the government which will take the decision-making away from local authorities who have been facing the fierce debate here in Nelson at times over the issue. In the studio this week I spoke to Sarah Cooper from Fluoride Free Nelson, who is one who's been very vocal about her concerns about fluoride being imposed on everyone through drinking water. She was in talking to me about the proposed DHB fluoride decision-making change. Sarah, it's of course been in the news about the government is now looking at handing over the decision-making process about fluoride in water to the district health boards, taking it away of course from council. How does that make an organisation like yours feel about the process?
Well, we've just finished our submissions to the draft annual plan for Nelson City Council, and those in Tasman have done the same. And we were quite relieved that we'd got that done, and we were, able to. I mean, that's a process that you can't submit to the DHB. The democratic process for the people is taken away. We have no voice with DHB. They pay lip service to public meetings. We've been fobbed off many occasions with, oh yes, we'll do a public meeting. We'll get back to you. And
have they
I've learnt a lot. No. We've had one unofficial meeting out of many promises to have a public meeting with the people, and it's just gone nowhere. So it's really disappointing.
Is this Dr. Beaglehole himself who's said this, or is this someone else in the district health board?
He said that he would get the dental officer in charge of the schools programs to get in contact with us, because Fluoride Free Nelson and New Zealand are really passionate about. I'll just show this.
Yeah.
Child Smile. Don't know how the light's going to affect that.
Yeah.
Child Smile. It's an education program, because education is correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't squash anyone's freedom of choice to medicate themselves how they want to. So we are very pro-education. We are very much against water fluoridation, because
tell us why. Tell us the key points about why you're so anti-water fluoridation.
Your physiology is different to mine. What you eat on a day-to-day basis, breathe, sleep, what you ingest and how you behave is completely different to what I do. And so fluoridation, water fluoridation goes into everything. You water your garden with it, you shower with it, it goes out into the environment. So you're saying it's accumulative. So whatever that fluoridated water touches, it's not just
it will be absorbed.
It's the it's accumulative, but it goes everywhere. So they're putting it into the water to treat cavities. Put it on a toothbrush in the form of toothpaste if you want to treat your teeth. Do not drink it, because that goes to our brain, that goes to our liver, that goes to our kidney disease. Kidney failure, people are suffering from that. Terrible, absolutely catastrophic for them. It's a socio-economic issue for those people that can't afford to avoid it. It's ethically incorrect.
We're talking about hexafluorosilicic acid, which is salicylic acid. Sorry,
that's all right.
It's quite a mouthful. When it goes into the water, this is the one that they use to treat the water. So they say it's sour in taste and it has a pungent smell. It's produced as a precursor to aluminium trifluoride and synthetic cryolite. So
that's good words, right?
Yeah. But
Real scientific.
that's industrial, right? Yeah. So they utilise this byproduct to put in water.
So it's illegal to dump this product, but when you put it into the water,
it's safe. is it?
Apparently.
Right.
I mean, you know, because it's in such microscopic amounts.
They're saying it diluted, it's considered to be harmless, whereas concentrated,
it's a bioaccumulator.
Okay, so concentrated, it's corrosive, highly toxic, attacks skin in everyday use, but it is said to be diluted.
So, I mean,
it's harmless.
Really, I mean, Dr. Beaglehole is misleading the public by saying all health authorities around the world support fluoridation. They don't. Most of the world does not fluoridate, including 97% of Western Europe, because it is not safe.
Well, it's interesting here. The acid, when evaporated, releases hydrogen fluoride.
So you think about being in the shower in fluoridated water, and you've got that hot
steam coming off it.
You're breathing it. Yeah, and it's. I mean, the chlorine also evaporates in that instance as well. And chlorine gas is not terribly flash either.
Okay. So some might think that you've got a really good case here about being concerned about.
I mean, at the end of the day, don't put treatments for people's bodies, for any part of the body, into our water. You know, if 250 children need to get their teeth ripped out, treat them. That's 250 children out of 40,000 Nelsonians. When, you know, there's far more of us that are getting affected, you've got to treat the actual issue. And really, the underlying issue here is education.
So what do you suggest people should do about this?
Wow.
Do we?
If it's up to the DHB, we've got voting coming up. Let's vote for the right people, quiz them, get involved in the voting process of your DHB and your council members properly, you know. Get in contact with Fluoride Free Nelson. Yeah,
and basically, if you have the internet, go and search it up. Have a look at what this product is.
We've hopefully got a slide that's going to pop up with the name that you can key into Facebook. Fluoride Free Nelson NZ is the Nelson page.
Sure, but some may say, hang on, that's going to be biased towards anti-fluoridation.
Oh no, this is about getting in contact with us to
find out more.
If you don't agree with water fluoridation, get in contact with us, see if there's something that you can help out with.
What about those who are not sure, you know, that are sitting on the fence, or
research,
or they want to believe
ask
that
the question, you know.
See, a lot of people will say the District Health Board won't do anything that will jeopardise our health, and that's what most people will probably
I find that really
thinking.
interesting, because they used to promote smoking as something that would look after our health. Do you have any examples of that?
Well, yes, my mother was a nurse and was told at Auckland Hospital that smoking would keep her healthy.
So she started smoking?
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? So they do tell us to do things that are not good for our health.
But we kind of hope that they've become a bit more aware and that they're a bit more onto it these days.
Well, whatever Gluckman or the science advisor at the top is telling them to do is what they will do, because that's their mandate. And so this is, we see this as water fluoridation, mandatory water fluoridation by stealth, really.
Okay. I asked people in Nelson their thoughts on the District Health Board taking over the decision-making process on fluoride in our water supply. What do you think about governments taking the fluoride and water decision away from councils, and it will now be administered by DHBs?
I'm not happy about that at all. I think it's harder for us to keep it out of our water if we choose to do that. What are we going to do? Go up to the DHB and protest outside and disturb patients? You just can't do that. So yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't want to shower and wash my hair in fluoride. I don't want my cats drinking it. In fact, I don't have a tooth decay problem. The kids that have got it are the ones that aren't drinking water anyway. So, I don't know, 50% tax on sugar drinks maybe? But just don't produce them. Just say, hey look, if you're going to have a can of Coke, it can't have 12 teaspoons of sugar, it's only allowed 1.5, because kids should only have 6 teaspoons a day. What about that?
I don't really have any thoughts. No, I think fluoride's fine. Yep.
There's a lot of people that are opposed to it, and they have their good reasons, so they'd want to be heard. I think people need to be listened to.
I haven't given that much thought. Yeah.
I don't think we should be adding fluoride to the water. I think that's an individual thing that people can do themselves. They can take fluoride tablets. A lot of our water just goes down the drain anyway, washing dishes, showers, things like that. Yeah.
I think they should have the same rule for the whole of New Zealand as opposed to, because I understand the Northland has put that in practice already.
Right.
But
Did you know fluoride is considered to be a poison?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I may not have all the facts, but I believe I've heard it's a neurotoxin, and if it's about kids' teeth decaying, then why don't we stop them eating sweets and deal with it that way rather than you know, put something in the water. So I'm totally against it.
Well, I think it's a sign of this whole move away from sovereignty for local councils and the sovereignty of each community, putting it into the hands of so-called experts that don't really have any interest in the well-being of the people, because the studies have shown all over the world that fluoride is a toxin. And so why is the DHB refused to come onto Mainland TV, for example, when repeatedly asked to have an open debate about the pros and cons of fluoride? So there's been only the individuals that have organised public meetings to pack out the Stoke Hall, for example, to show the dangers of fluoride, and that was not even replied to by the DHB. So why have they got the expertise, according to government, to make a decision on the behalf of the community about the pros of fluoride? So that's basically what needs to happen as an open debate before the government would even think of taking the sovereignty of the council away to hand it to a bunch of people that aren't even willing to have an open debate on fluoride.
MP for Nelson Nick Smith was in our studio for a catch-up, and with the ongoing news in the media about the Panama Papers exposing New Zealand with around 60,000 mentions as a tax haven used by trusts, I spoke to him about the subject of lawful tax avoidance. This week we've had quite a bit in the news about offshore trusts, you know, partaking in legitimate tax avoidance. Would this be common practice in New Zealand, do you think?
No, it's not. And so the first thing I've got to be really clear about is there's no issue in terms of these trusts being used by New Zealanders to avoid tax. Right? That's not being debated at all. What's being debated is that there has been about 10 million papers released from Panama, from a particular law firm that run a system of trusts around the world to hide people's money. And it would be not surprising, given there are 10 million documents, that some of them will mention New Zealand. I'm sorry, that's just inevitable. The bit, and we need to have a bit of a look and see where the look is our law in that area. If you look at all of the international agencies, you know, you've got the Cayman Islands, you've got places like Jersey, you've got places that have got a reputation for being a tax haven. New Zealand is not. In fact, all the international reports says that we have one of the good systems of tax. Not perfect, we're always looking to do it. We've got a lot of work going on at the moment where you've got these large international companies that have got businesses occurring in a number of different countries, and how do we make sure that they don't shift their income off to the Cayman Islands or wherever it might be that they can reduce their tax. And we're ganging up with other countries to try and make sure that those multinationals pay their fair share. So yes, we need to have a look at it, we need to keep an open mind on it, but the idea that New Zealand is some great tax haven, I think is very untrue. But I also think it's inevitable when you've got 10 million documents that there will be some references to transactions going through New Zealand at some stage.
Right. So these trusts that people are using to hide their money, it seems fairly unethical, really, doesn't it?
Well, no, there can be quite legitimate interests for having trusts. You know, you have a person that dies and they have a substantial amount of wealth. They may have been a very successful musician. And so they'll leave their money in a trust, and they'll have trustees to distribute that money to their children and their family. The idea that trusts, full stop, are bad things is in my view, incorrect.
No, but when they're
equally
setting up into tax havens, you know,
they will.
That's a little
and that's the bit that we've sort of got to work out, is where are the legitimate. For instance, if you've got a superannuation fund, your superannuation fund will be saying to look after your retirement, we don't want to put all our money in New Zealand. Might be a major disaster, might be a major period of economic. So we're going to spread those investments around the world so that we're spreading your risk to provide you with better security in your retirement. And a lot of that money will be in investment trusts. So we do need to, some people sort of get into this sort of conspiracy model, all trust, all overseas trust, you know, so all the people are ripping us off, you know, sort of the Winston Peters conspiracy theories. Yes, there are examples of where these are used dishonestly for money laundering, for drug smugglers, for people that are dealing in arms. But the vast majority of them are for absolutely, you know, legitimate, proper purposes. And that's where we just need to take a balanced approach, kick the tyres, check that our range is as good as possible. Interestingly, our international trust law was last rewritten in 2007. The minister at the time was Winston Peters, was the minister who wrote the law. And so for him to be sort of doing his normal conspiracy theory type stuff, I do find a little bit ironic.
It has also come to light after this interview that Prime Minister John Key has a link to a law firm providing services to foreign trusts. The PM made a short-term deposit in a trust which was publicly disclosed in our latest register of MPs' pecuniary interests this week. The trust, the Antipodes Trust Group, was headed by his personal lawyer Ken Whitney, which now the media is reporting is actually a beneficiary of that foreign trust regime. The Antipodes Trust Group promotes itself as a specialist provider of trustee and associated services for foreign trusts using New Zealand as their jurisdiction of choice. The scandal, which has arisen from the release of the Mossack Fonseca papers, has made it clear that New Zealand laws have made it easy for foreign investors to hide their tax-free profits. We asked people in Nelson about their thoughts on the Labour leader's request in the House that the Prime Minister produce his tax records for the last financial year. The Panama Papers have come out in the media and 60,000 references to New Zealand in there. What do you think of Labour leader's request in the House that the PM produces tax records?
I got no opinion, to be honest. Yep.
Well, I think it's great. I think that John Key has a famous line, hasn't he? If you've got nothing to hide, then there's nothing to worry about. So why doesn't he just put it on the table? That's what I reckon. Just let's see where John Key's money goes. I know he's got hidden trusts, which is holds a wine bottle up. So he obviously knows what his hidden trust is as well.
Oh, I just think that he should do that, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's a reasonable question to ask, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that too. And that's part of his responsibilities in the position he's in, is to be open.
Yeah.
Should refuse.
I don't think he should refuse. Right. I definitely don't agree with that.
Okay, so there should be transparency, you're saying?
Definitely.
I think we should know. Yeah. Of course, he's the Prime Minister. He's representing us. Yep. No problems.
The latest Nelson City Council attendance records for November, December and February have been released, and it seems that turning up to all the scheduled meetings and workshops is still a bit tricky for some councillors for undisclosed reasons. We took a look at the last 3 months to see how attendance records looked on behalf of council's employers, the ratepayers. Mayor Rachel Rees was top of the list, and she attended all 10 of her scheduled meetings, as did Councillor Ian Barker, plus one that he did not have to attend. Councillor Brian McGurk attended all 9 scheduled meetings, plus 2 extras. However, on the flip side, according to council records, Councillor Pete Rainey had 6 meetings to attend, however was only able to make 3 of them. Councillor Luke Ackland had 7 meetings, only attending 4, and Councillor Mike Ward had 6 meetings, attending 4, as he was absent from the 2 meetings in December, giving him the whole month off, as did Councillor Eric Davies. All these absences were acknowledged at the meetings. However, records show that Councillor Kate Fulton came in with the only did not attend, which means no apology had been given. In May 2015, councillors received a pay rise of $2,200, bringing their base salary to $39,000. For many in the Nelson region, this would be a good full-time wage, however still below the mean average New Zealand wage, which is $45,000. And finally, Motueka's Steiner School Fair on Sunday last weekend was a fun-filled, entertaining day for all the family. The theme of dragons and castles was magic and created an inspiring atmosphere for the very young and their families. The Rudolf Steiner School is community owned and the fair brought the community together, supplying their resources from food, activities, stalls and horse rides through to field and stage entertainment. The school has been on a mission for a few years now to raise funds to build itself a new specially designed school on its very own farm property before it can make the move to relocate. Currently, the Rudolf Steiner School is located on Motueka's High Street in rented buildings. The vision of the school and its families is to develop an organic farm learning space, growing a source of food for families, creating a haven for nature, while further integrating the school curriculum with the farming of the land and making it a focal point for community. The school purchased a 13.6 hectare farm in 2015, largely thanks to some very generous donators. We'll leave you now with some sights and sounds of Sunday's Where the Dragons Come Alive Steiner themed fair. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that fat old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546 4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power.
Electronics, toys.
Sound systems, cables, and much, much more. Jacob.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level.
Victory 60 Plus is on Tuesdays at 1:30 through to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. You can join in for cards, games and a cuppa. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Nelson Tire Centre. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power.
Electronics, toys.
Sound systems, cables and much, much more.
Jacob. 120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297. ytel.co.nz.